What causes the universe?
I think the answer to that is something like what many people conceive of God to be, right?
So what causes God, though?
So what's your religious or philosophical perspective, huh?
Okay,
What are your
so
leanings?
religious, I identify as trying to figure things out right now.
Okay, that's a good place to be.
Yeah, and I would say, like, the best thing that everyone needs to say is, I don't know.
When it comes to like the big questions in life,
Yeah.
really, it's like, is there a God? Has he revealed himself? You know, are any of the religions out there in the world actually true? You kind of would consider yourself agnostic
I
on
mean,
those questions.
like, there is a God.
You do believe that?
Yeah, I believe there is God. Because, I mean, there are spirits in the world, and they all represent, like, a higher power. Like, they're all intertwined, in the universe, and, part of that is like a chemistry, everything is part of like one giant ecosystem. And, somewhere along those lines, there is a God-like entity. I just don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. When you say God, like, what do you mean by that personally?
Like, there is a higher power.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, higher power.
So like a non-physical being that's very powerful, that's eternal,
Internal.
that's uncaused by anything else, that's
Okay, so the universe, right? What causes the universe?
I think the answer to that is something like what many people conceive of God to be, right?
So what causes God, though?
Yeah, well, eventually you have to get down to something that isn't caused by anything else. Eventually you have to come down to that. Everything, I think, has an explanation for its existence. The universe has an explanation for its existence. Either it's caused by something else, or by its very nature, it can't not exist. But it seems logically possible for the universe to not exist. The universe has a cause, and whatever that cause is, if the universe is all space-time reality, including all matter, including all energy, whatever the cause of the universe is, must itself be beyond space and time. It can't be made of matter, because it's the cause of all of those things existing, right? It must be non-physical.
Something causes the universe. I mean, something, made the universe. But, what made God, or, what came first kind of thing. Like, I think you can kind of think of things as like a yin and yang, where like every negative has a positive. It's like atoms. Every proton has an electron in a way, and that's kind of like the universe. If there was nothing at one point, we're still kind of at nothing, because if you cancel out all the positive and the negative, all the light matter and all the dark matter. I don't really know exactly what dark matter is. I don't know if anybody does exactly, but if you canceled out everything, it might just be zero. And maybe there's some similar logic you could use to describe what God is. Like, maybe God at one point was nothing, but he came to be a conscience out of positives and negatives interacting.
So something else maybe caused God?
Maybe God just became himself.
Okay.
Just like we became just ourselves in our mother's wombs, in a way.
Sure.
Like, we just form.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because our parents came together, right?
Yeah.
And so there was something that caused God like that, maybe.
Oh, well, I meant it more on like the conscience level. Like, we just form in the sense that we don't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm Eli. We wake up one day and we're like, oh, I've woken up a lot of times. And our brain in the womb is just slowly forming.
Oh, okay.
And,
Gotcha.
It's electricity. That's what our brain is. And so, there could be something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, no matter what, you can say that the cause of the universe is beyond space and time, and it's not made of matter itself, because it's the cause of all of those things existing. But I think you're also eventually going to have to come down to something uncaused, because let's just say, for example, that you say, all right, well, what caused that thing, and then what caused that thing, and what caused that thing, and what caused that thing, and maybe you just go on forever, right? With cause after cause after cause after cause. When you step back and look at the whole enchilada, right, you're saying, why does all of this exist rather than nothing? eventually the explanation is going to have to be, because I think everything has an explanation for its existence, eventually it's going to have to be something that doesn't itself have a cause, that by its very nature can't not exist. Ultimately, you're going to have to come down to that at some point.
I mean, like, think of the Big Bang Theory. I think that it's going to keep on changing. I think a lot of what we take to be facts right now are going to keep on changing.
Yeah, interesting, man. I think one of the cool things is that you're right. All of those theories might change, and they certainly could. But it doesn't really matter for the simple inference we're making is that whatever the ultimate cause is of space-time and matter can't be made of matter itself, and must in some way transcend space and time, because it's what causes those things to exist. Right? The ultimate cause of the universe must be non-physical, and also very powerful.
Okay, I have another question for you.